loves. I hope you're good. Welcome to your cosmic weather report for the week ahead. Now, we've got a really deep inner dive this week. So the astrology of this week is really matching the seasons in nature that we're going through at the moment, where everything is about deep withdrawal inwards, slowing down, integrating, processing. And so my big ask of you at the start of this week and at the start of this weather report is to really take time through this week, if you do find yourself in a lot of intense emotions and facing a lot of hard truths, is to really give yourself the time and the grace to slow down, to be gentle with yourself, to process, to not rush and not push, and to instead really spend time with yourself. This is going to be a week where you can really get to know yourself like never before, and to really close out this year differently with a very clear intention then of how you want to do things differently next year. And so this week is really helping us to build upon the energies of last week's Gemini full moon and really use the closing of this traditional year now to make big changes. So this all starts on Monday as Venus moves into Scorpio. Now, Venus is the planet of relationships, both relationship with self and with others. Venus looks at our self-love, our self-worth, how we really feel about ourselves, what our relationship is like with ourselves. Because remember that your relationship with yourself is the building block of your relationship with everybody else around you. Venus also governs things like finances, values, how much we're living in alignment with who we truly are. And so as Venus enters into Scorpio, this is going to take us on this incredibly deep dive within. So Venus in Scorpio is going to ask you to look at your deep desires, to look at your deep truths, to go beneath the surface, to go into your subconscious, to see what's been hidden or what you've been hiding from, what you've been avoiding, what you've not been dealing with, especially when it comes to relationships. Now, this might be romantic relationships. It could also just be relationships with family, with friendship groups, with bosses, with colleagues, with things like this. But Venus in Scorpio is going to really help us to go very deep into where we're not living in alignment with our own truth, our own values, and who we truly want to be. So Venus in Scorpio asks us to very much look at, where are you trying to romanticize relationships in your life and kind of pretend that there's something that they're not, or if only this would change, everything would be okay? Where do we keep the peace and we shrink parts of ourselves so as not to cause arguments and things like that? Where do we nod along and agree with things that we don't really agree with to keep the peace? Where are we not really in alignment with the truth of who we are, our deepest values? Where are we straying from ourselves in our life to please other people? This is going to become really obvious, as well as where we're putting our very deep desires on hold. So where we're not allowing ourselves to be in the fullness of our desires, whether that's because we perhaps believe that they might not come true, or that we've not got what it takes to make them come true, or that how it might affect this person. That's why we can't do what we want to do, because that would happen over here if we did what we want to do. So we're going to really be taken into this deep dive inwards into our deepest truth, right beneath the surface. Everything that gets kind of hidden and buried down there is going to come up. And with that, there might be some very big emotions. Venus in Scorpio Scorpio is very deep, intense emotion, but those emotions that are kind of quite guttural, that come up where we have been holding things down and they all of a sudden come out. On Tuesday, Venus is going to meet Saturn. Now, you might remember, if you watched last week's report, that this happened quite a bit, that planets were meeting up with Saturn. And Saturn then gives us this pause when Saturn meets Venus, so that we can really look at and really get honest and really get clear about where we aren't in alignment. And rather than just exploding more into our emotions, we get to sit with that and go, okay, this is where I'm out of integrity in my life. This is where I'm out of alignment. This is where I'm not living by my values and my truth and really honoring my desires. These are the relationships in my life that I'm romanticizing. This is where I'm clinging on to things that aren't meant for me. Let me now take a pause. And On the same day is the last quarter moon in Virgo. Now, the last quarter moon is that really big release point of the lunar cycle that says, what do you really want to let go of and not take into the next cycle with you? So we get this pause to really look at our lives and to get very honest then about, this is what I'm done with. This is what I don't want to put up with anymore. This is who I no longer want to show up as anymore. This is where I don't want to keep agreeing with things I don't agree with anymore. This is where I'm not living my truth, and I want to begin to do that. These are the desires that I want to begin to nurture and follow in my life. And the last quarter moon in Virgo is the healer of the zodiac. Virgo can have that tendency to, everyone says it's very picky and very perfectionist, but sometimes that's not a bad thing, because Virgo is going to help you to look at your life and go, well, that isn't perfect. And you deserve perfect, and you deserve more than what it is that you're accepting right now. And therefore, let's pick this apart a little bit. Let's pick apart where this isn't quite working. Let's look at what isn't quite happening over here or isn't quite perfect over here. And then let's start to make a plan of what it is that we're going to do about it. Because again, that Venus meeting Saturn is about foundations. Okay, if you want to make these changes in your life, what foundations do we need to put in place? So if you want to begin to show up in more of your truth, we need to lay an inner foundation of very deep self-trust and self-belief, so that when you need to step into your truth and speak it, you've got a foundation here that says, you've got this, you can do this, I trust you, I believe in you, I've got you. So what foundations do we need to lay in place? If you do want to leave your relationship, what foundations do you need to lay in place to make sure that you're strong and resilient enough to be able to go through these things? So Saturn's going to give us this really beautiful pause, and that last quarter moon is going to say, what are you letting go of? What are you done with? What do you really, really want to release? Now, this is going to continue on Wednesday, because on Wednesday, Neptune is going to station direct. Now, Neptune has been retrograde since June. And as Neptune retrogrades, Neptune takes us through a lot of these Venus and Scorpio things. So Neptune shows us where we are romanticizing our life, where we're seeing things through rose-tinted glasses, where we are holding on to illusions of how things could be or how things should be, or we're really seeing things through rose-tinted glasses that aren't really true, but we're trying to hold on to the ifs and buts and whens and maybes. So Neptune in retrograde helps us to really see the truth. And as Neptune then stations direct, there's almost this big shift now into the rose-tinted glasses come off, the veil of illusion drops, and we get to really see things for what they are, and then we really get to look at things and go, wow, okay, with everything we've been through in the week so far, this is what I'm ready to leave behind, I'm ready to let go of. Remember, this time of year as well is all about going inwards into our deep, deep inner world. And the way I describe this time of year is, if you imagine you were going into a meditation cave, like an actual meditation cave, would you want to take everything in your current life in there with you and be like in there for the next few months with everything? Or would you be like, oh God, no, I wouldn't want that to come in with me. Like, I wouldn't want them to come in with me. Really good way to look at this. So as Neptune stations direct, there's going to be a moment of truth, a moment of clarity, a moment of, I've been putting up with that. And that Venus and Scorpio is going to go, yeah, and you deserve way more than that. And now we're going to make the plan of how you're going to step into the fullness of you to know that you deserve more, so you can go out there and get more. This continues on Friday, when the Sun trines Chiron and also Mercury trines Jupiter. The Sun, our identity, our personality, who we are, our soul purpose, how we're here to shine. Chiron, that wounded healer. And as the two of these trines, so trine is a very supportive aspect where these planets blend together to support each other, there's going to come a really big realization of who you are. Like, this is who I am. This is who I am. This is who I am. And a very big moment of a reclamation of who you are, a very deep sense of purpose, a moment of healing, of being able to really heal, of being able to say, I don't want to carry this around with me anymore. I don't want to do this to myself anymore. I don't want to hurt myself in these ways anymore. I don't want to keep gripping onto this unrequited relationship anymore. I don't want to keep giving all of myself to this person who's giving me nothing back anymore. This is who I am. There's going to be a moment of real choosing you. That's another thing I want to really give you for this week. It's a moment to choose you. And so a choice point is going to come around the end of the week. On the same day Mercury meeting Jupiter is going to give you this moment to really suddenly like oh my goodness, to see the truth, to get the clarity, to know what to do, to find the right words to say it. It's going to be a real moment of clarity and realization around who you are. And then we also get Venus opposite Jupiter. So this is going to give you the expansion into who you are. So over this week, there's going to be moments to find this really deep realization of who you are, your deepest truth, your deepest values, your deepest desires, the veils of illusion dropping, the realizations of what you no longer want, where you're playing parts or acting in certain ways or morphing parts of yourself or agreeing with things you don't agree with. And as all these illusions drop and there's a clarity and a truth there, there's then going to be a moment of choice where you get to choose you, and you get to, from there, expand into more of you. Now I'm letting go of these things that are no longer serving me. I get to expand into more of me. And yes, it's going to be scary, because any kind of expansion is, and there's the moment we want to contract again. But this week, if you can lay those foundations at the start of the week, if you can again use your emotions as signposts of what's really not working for you, if you can be brave enough to dive deep beneath the surface and to see the truth of like, this isn't working in my life. This hasn't been working for such a long time, and I've kept trying to pretend or trying to coerce and trying to manipulate it a little bit and trying to think if I only do this or if they only do that, but it's not working. In those moments of clarity and truth, then is going to come more room for more of you to be able to expand through. And then from there, a solid foundation of self-trust, self-belief, self-worth that you will then be able to build upon to move you into something different next year. So once more, this is a time for a lot of inner work, inner reflection, inner knowing, inner exploration. There will be emotions around this week. Anything around Scorpio, we're looking at quite deep, intense emotions. And especially when we're making these big realizations and we're seeing the truth about certain things in life, that again there can be a lot of confrontation in that, especially when we see that maybe we've been allowing certain things. So expect a big week, but if you can be there with yourself, hold yourself, get honest with yourself, there is so much power in this week for a very deep reclamation of self. I really hope as always that helps. I adore doing these for you, and so many of you say that, you know, you get so much from it through navigating the week, and it's my deepest honor to think if I can help you navigate your way through the week and through life. That's all that I really wish for. And so I really, as always, hope this has helped. Appreciate, as always, likes, comments, shares, things like that. It means the world to know that. So it's funny to do these things behind a screen when there's just me and I'm like, oh, there are actually people out there watching this. So yeah, thank you. I always just love to hear from you all. So thank you. And then just a little reminder that we are going to do a candlelight Christmas yin class where we can get deep and cozy and just really rest and process the year and allow ourselves to integrate. That's going to be on, I think it's the 17th of December. And then we're going to do a big goddess ritual. And we're going to meet a dark goddess to go inwards into all these shadows and the winter wisdom and the processing. And then we're going to meet a more of a light goddess who's going to lead us forwards into what it is we want to consciously manifest. So you'll find both of those either in the link in my bio or on my website. I'm sending you so much love for this week. Dive deep, get to know you, because we need you. And I will be back very soon. So much love, my darlings.